Hiya. Today I'm going to focus on some eyeshadow tips, in particular for maybe a more hooded eye shape or an eye shape where maybe your lids have dropped ever so slightly. And I'm just going to talk you through a few little tips that might mean that you really see the benefit of your eyeshadow. So I'm going to use a palette of matte colours. Grab whatever you like, but what I'm essentially going to do is one colour all over the lid and then show you how to blend it out. Now, if I show you me, if I'm like stretching my eyes and looking into my mirror and all the rest of it, there's a lot of space there. But when I relax and look at you, there's some natural little creases that we all have. So essentially what I'm going to do is make sure that in those creases, I've got colour above them, so that even when I'm completely relaxed, you can see the colours that I've gone for. Before I do anything, actually, I'm going to start with a little bit of, this is the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. You can use whatever you want to prep your eyelids. This one is very similar to my natural complexion, so it blends in quite seamlessly. To be honest, a lot of the time for this step, you could even just take your foundation completely across the eyelids, set it with some powder, whatever you like to use and you've already got in your kit will work well. One of the things I would love to think is that as you're watching these videos, just pick what you've got in your makeup bag already. I don't want you to think that I'm saying you have to use exactly what I'm using to get that result, because it's very, very rarely the case. If there was something really specific that I thought you'd get a really, absolute bang on unique result from, I would tell you. But I would say 99 times out of 100, whatever you've got at home is going to work just as well. Okay, so that didn't go behind my ear at all. I'm going to start with a fluffy brush. This is the It Cosmetics Superhero Shadow Brush. And I'm going to start with kind of a mid brown. Now, with this, I'm going to look directly into my mirror forward on, rather than stretching and giving myself the illusion of all this extra space. Do you know what I mean? I almost want those creases to be in crease mode when I'm getting this first colour on. Now, I actually did a live video yesterday with my friend Kate. She has the brand Peaches and Cream, her and Nicola in Liverpool. And that's where I learned makeup, actually. I went to uni in Liverpool. So I was with the girls for a long while. And basically Kate did this step by step with me yesterday. So it's really fresh in my head. And a hooded eyeshadow tutorial is something I've been asked about a few times, and I've been waiting for things to change so that I could have a model or something, and obviously it doesn't look like that's going to happen for a while. So I've decided not to put it off just for not having a model with that eye shape, but it still is relevant for me because my lids have dropped slightly. So first of all, as you can see, I'm taking this really soft brown, I mean this is especially soft, through the socket, and as you can see it's perhaps a couple of shades darker than my complexion. And even in a complete relaxed mode, you can see all that brown there, because I haven't actually followed the natural crease of my eye, I've gone kind of above it. Now the next thing, I'm really not a believer in any rules when it comes to your makeup. I'll come on to that in a minute. So I don't want to dictate you should or shouldn't do this. You should wear whatever you feel good in. I really believe that. And that's why I'm not someone that breaks my tutorials down into too many categories. But if you wanted to try something to really make the eye look bigger, I think, oh gosh, that shade was the next shade up. I'm just going to have to finish that now. I thought I was topping up with a little bit of that brown and I went in for the deeper shade, which was going to be what I was going to do next. I've gone in with a deeper brown. I'm going to take that slightly under the natural brown. Anyway, I think if you're giving this a go, it's going to look nice trying it with one colour all over the lid and see how you go from there. So I'm going to take that colour that I just added, the kind of medium brown, all over the lid. And I'm just going to look down into the mirror and pat that on. The brush I'm using here is a Real Techniques it's all rubbed off because it's years old. I think it's the crease eyeshadow brush from what I can make out. But anyway, I'm going to pat this matte all over the lids. And essentially this blurs really nicely into that colour that I've taken through the socket. And I think that this can give a really lovely finish. If you are trying to enlarge the eye, having everything all one colour, I think can be really good at helping to achieve that. I was just having a discussion earlier in the week with my mum. I've had a lot of people recently say, can you do something for a specific age group? You know, over 50s is one that's come up a lot, and different ages. And the reason why I never do that is just personally, my philosophy is that has no bearing on how you wear your makeup. I don't believe that if you're 50, for example, that you shouldn't follow any tutorial I've done, because I just don't believe that you need to make any changes based on your age. You know, you may wish, for example, with little tips like I'm doing here, you may wish to take your crease colour a little bit above the line so that it pops, but that isn't necessarily specific to age. And I just would hate for you to see, like, for example, if I put up a video tomorrow, makeup for 50 plus, I don't want you to think, if you're 50 plus, that all of those other videos didn't apply to you, because they do. So me not doing that, I don't want you to feel like I'm excluding anyone. Quite the opposite. I've just chosen not to do that because I think everyone should enjoy any tutorial and wear any colour. I mentioned this recently actually, and someone said to me, but what about us older ladies not wearing shimmer? And again, I thought, I don't believe that anyone shouldn't wear shimmer. I think everyone can wear shimmer. I really think, I'm going to take some brown, by the way, under the eyes. I really think that with any kind of look that you're thinking of going for, the main thing for me, I would say that, especially if you're using a new colour or a new technique, just start small and build it up gradually. And it's much easier to build up than it is to take down. That's pretty much my main philosophy I'd apply to anything. And otherwise, I'm just not a believer in following any particular rules. So I really hope it comes across that I'm not purposefully segregating anyone. I'm actually keeping things the way I do them, because I think you should enjoy any look that you like. And, you know, if it's this kind of soft matte brown that speaks to you, if it was gold glitter red lips from the other day, you know, if I was doing your makeup and I wasn't doing a tutorial from you through the screen, there isn't anything that I would say, oh, that's not going to be right for you. I'd always just give it a go personally. And that's what I try and pass on. Okay, back to hooded eyes. I've put my colours on. I think it's really important to really make sure that when you're doing your makeup, you're looking at it relaxed. So if I've completely frowned here and you can see that the lid has dropped, I've still got my tan colour there. I've got my main colour here. It's still looking fab. I'm delighted with that. Now, liner-wise, it's totally up to you. I am actually going to go in with what would be on me quite a flesh colour. This is the Peaches and Cream Papyrus. And this can be really good. Something brighter to help the eyes just pop a little bit more. You can really see the difference between the two sides. In particular, let's be honest, this is a very unusual time. You might not be sleeping as well as you usually are, or, you know, I think there's loads of reasons why we don't always get the best night's sleep, isn't there? If you haven't slept the best and that waterline is a bit more red, a flesh colour can really make it pop. I know that looks really dramatic there, but by the time I've finished my mascara and things, it's going to really blur in. I'm going to go in with some Lash Curlers. These are the Doll Beauty ones. I was just talking to somebody about these last night. Somebody said to me, why do you never use eyelash curlers? You know, I think they make such a good difference. And I said, to be honest, it's during lockdown that I really started to get into using them. I could never be bothered before that, really. And I do think they make a huge difference, in particular, if you're trying to make your eyes look larger. The only reason I don't tend to use them in the videos is just that I break my neck trying to do them in 15 minutes. So that is the only reason you never really see me talking about them, but I do think they're great. If you have a very hooded lid, you might prefer a small mascara wand, something really dainty. The It Cosmetics Tightline Mascara is especially good for that. I'm going to go in with this today. This is the NARS Climax Extreme. It's a very big brush to just help me to achieve some volume. You can really see the difference when you've curled your lashes. I was thinking then, what am I getting at when you've curled your lashes? Another thing I meant to give you an update on, I have finished a Lancome eyelash serum that I've been using for a good few months now. And I definitely noticed that it made my eyelashes much stronger and that they looked much fuller. So it's been a long while since I've used anything like that. But if that was something you were on the market for, I would really recommend that one. It's in a gold tube. But anyway, I'm taking this mascara up. If you notice that your mascara presses or smudges a lot because of your lid shape, I'd really recommend switching to a tubing mascara. Clinique do one. Trish McAvoy High Volume Mascara is tubing as well. And essentially that kind of wraps the lashes. It coats them in, I want to say it's like the equivalent of, you know, when you're little and you've got PVA glue on your hands and you kind of crumble it off. It's like a mascara equivalent of that. And that way your mascara comes off with just some warm water. So it's really good if you're sensitive or you struggle to get your makeup off. But also it doesn't smudge as much. So if your eye shape lends itself to smudging, tubing could be the way forward for you. But for me, I feel like that's widened and brightened the eyes. It's really simple, and just a few key tips there can help to brighten everything up. The key takeaway is to look straight into your mirror rather than down into it. And I mean, I'm always telling you to look down into your mirror, but it's just these few tweaks that can make a world of difference. But just on the subject of the kind of aged videos again, I just really felt passionate to say that because I've had a few conversations recently about, I think things like that can really stick with us. You know, if someone told you years ago, oh, you shouldn't wear this colour or you shouldn't wear your makeup like that, I think we can really take those things on board without even realising we've done so. And for me, I want you to think of every single colour, texture, everything as something that is able to work for you. And just have a play. You know, one of my favourite times to experiment with new colours is just before I take my makeup off, because you can have a little play with it in the bathroom, have a look, see what it looks like. And if it's not for you, you're only going to wash your face and go to bed anyway. So just get everything out, have a little play with something new, try something different. I would say as a general rule, as someone that gets a lot of texture in my skin, for example, anything luminous can draw attention, okay? So if it's something that you don't feel as confident with, for example, with me, it might be textured areas in my cheeks some days, try and stick to matte textures in anything that you want to keep nice and subtle, and add the luminosity to anything that you want to perk up. So I might put my highlighter down my nose and up here and avoid the cheeks on those textured days or something like that. But what I'm going to do, I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to do some more videos dedicated to smaller steps. So we had hooded eyes today. Yesterday I did blush, bronze, highlighter placement. Just let me know any small bits that you want me to break down and we'll work through them. Okay, take care. I'll talk to you soon.